people involved in the Republican struggle. And the feud ended as quickly as it began. And one of the reasons was that the Frazier Ali fight was coming on television. And nobody was going to be out in the street gunning for somebody else when that fight was coming on.
Beautiful girlfriend was a model here, and I walk up and a kid grabs my tickets and runs. Well, right away my street instincts took over, and I jumped off the steps going up in the garden. A few steps later, I caught him, grabbed him, knocked him down to the ground, and took back my tickets. And this young woman, she was like stunned, and she was looking at me like, "Are you a madman?" I said, "He took our tickets. This is one of the great fights."
There was a bunch of us raggedy-ass, hippie-looking lost souls sort of wandering into the thing saying, "Wow, man."
The fashions were dazzling. It just had the look of a coronation more than a fist fight.
It even appealed to those critical of fashion.
Tons of color, tons of attitude, hot pants, revealing bust lines with lacing.
Mink, floor-length white coats, and those were the men.
Men outdressed the women. Men were peacocks. They were dynamite. This was glamour, fabulous, outrageous-looking clothing. Nothing I'm recommending.
I've been in a lot of rooms in my life. I have never walked into an arena where the excitement in the air was absolutely, it was electricity.
Just every movie star, you think, oh my God, look at this. They're either sitting in the back of you or right in front of you. You're right with them.
Just happened to turn around and I looked over at seat 50. There's old Blue Eyes, and he's got a camera.
During the national anthem, Frank Sinatra slipped into a ringside seat as a photographer for Life magazine. He was just one of the many celebrities in the garden that night.
They can't spell fight. They've never seen it, but they don't know what the hell they're watching, but they had to be there. Why? Not to see this fight. This was mandatory that they be there to be seen themselves.
In the fighters' dressing rooms, the tension was building.
I go to the Ali dressing room to tell the Ali camp, are you ready to exchange trainers? They're ready to rap. Joe, you ready? He gets up off the table and he said, what's Frazier doing? I said, whatever. I said, I'm like nervous, my heart. I'm like, Joe can't take this spot. Then he was shuffled. Boom, he's out. Frazier's down. Ali's entourage. Yeah, champ. That's right, champ. I'm like, oh, let me get out of here.
Joe Frazier's dressing room was as quiet as a church. In a way, it was.
I said, Pop, what did you pray? He said, I asked the Lord. I said, Lord, help me to kill this man, because he's not righteous.
The hour of truth has arrived.
Lights dim. Come in, Ali first. Red trunks, red tassels, roar.
Just listen to the noise of this crowd. This is well going to be a great evening for boxing fans all over the world.
Coming in, second, bopping and booping as he does, Joe Frazier, brocaded green.
Joe Frazier, ladies and gentlemen. There seems to be a mingling of boos along with the applause. I don't know why. This man is a gallant champion.
Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, just him. Focus on him. Nobody else but him.
For the first time in heavyweight championship history, we have two undefeated fighters in there.
Ali was whipping around the ring and around Joe. And everybody thought, well, he's taunting Joe, he's doing his act. And Ali he said later that he was just saying, $2.5 million. Can you believe it? $2.5 million.
I don't know if anybody heard the introductions.
Introducing from Louisville, Kentucky, here is Muhammad Ali. His opponent from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Frazier.
I imagine it was like the Roman Colosseum.
Joe Frazier, 26-0. Muhammad Ali, 31-0, were together at last. For Frazier, it was the opportunity to silence the voice that had tortured him. For Ali, he was back where he belonged, waiting for the bell with the heavyweight championship at stake.
Muhammad Ali opening up fast. He may try to blitz him here in round one. Muhammad Ali is butt-shotting Frazier with that right hand and getting away with it. Frazier has taken a good battering in this round.
He had Joe Frazier completely frustrated. Almost came close to knocking him out first round.
Defying the sands of time, Ali quickly got the Garden crowd on his side, winning the first 2 rounds on the official scorecards. But Frazier kept boring in.
The idea was to get to the body shot, get by that jab. I didn't get through all of it. He locked me up with some of it.
That was going to be his style. He would take 2 to land 1. He would take 3 to land 1. But he would keep coming forward, get close enough to do damage with those short arms.
I challenged him to the jab by moving and getting closer. Because I know if I just touch him one time with the left hook, he was going to know about it.
The left hook was the punch Joe Frazier needed to land, but it had not landed yet.
He put a whipping on Joe's head in those first 3 rounds. I thought Frazier may go, and then it began to turn.
Now Frazier is scoring. He said he would go to the body, and he is. Muhammad Ali, flat on his feet, not up on his toes, like the Muhammad Ali of old. Muhammad Ali may have been told to move more. He's up on his toes for the first time tonight when he was tagged.
Frazier would soon move ahead on the official scorecards, and he knew he was ahead.
Frazier's just laughing at him, talking to him. That's the way Muhammad Ali used to taunt his opponent.
Not only want to establish his physical superiority in the ring, he just want to punish him because he's bringing things into the fight promotion that didn't belong in the fight promotion.
Frazier was doing what he said he would do, taking the words out of Ali's mouth.
I mean, this is a Joe Frazier who's apparently kept a lot of anger against Muhammad Ali in his heart. What a round.
It was definitely a back and forth. I mean, Ali's skill was evident. I mean, he had the ability to make Frazier look bad at times, but Frazier would keep coming forward.
As part of most of Ali's fights, there was a prediction. This fight, according to Ali, would end in 6.
And he said he will stop me in 6. And I said, 6, no way.
Wicked left hook. And another. Ali almost a sitting duck here.
Joe was the worker, never stopped working. Bang, bang, bang. And Ali would be putting his hands up, fooling around here.
Those pity-pat punches aren't going to do much for anybody.
Ali gave away about 3 rounds because he had that pitter-patter style and then motioning to the audience that he didn't hurt me, etc., etc.
Ali will score no knockout in this round.
I'm giving him hell because he's playing with the guy, patting him and everything else. I told him, man, come on now. Get it together.
Through 8 rounds, the official scorecards had Frazier ahead, but not everyone agreed.
Going into the 9th round, it was even. But the 9th round, Ali put on a dazzling show.
And Muhammad Ali comes back. He's got a great reserve.
Suddenly Ali found his second win, and you thought, my God, he's doing it again.
Frazier was hurt there.
Here he comes.
Muhammad Ali saved the round.
ebbs and flows to the action. It was Ali, it was Frazier. It was Ali, it was Frazier. It was Ali, it was Frazier. I mean, that's what made it.
Ali would win both the 9th and 10th rounds, but Joe refused to be denied.
He said it to me a lot of times. Hey, man, I'm prepared to die in there. Because he felt his whole life, his family, all of what he stood for was on the line.
Joe trying to get that shot in there. Ali, Muhammad talked to him again.
He said, "Coaching on God." I said, "God, you're in the wrong place tonight. I'm taking there, you kicking ass."
In the 11th round, Joe Frazier's anger exploded.
He's holding on desperately.
And he really had Ali in trouble.
Muhammad Ali rocks him to the rope. He almost went down.
For some reason, Joe did not follow up on it.
Frazier wondered if Ali was playing possum, if Ali was faking the wobbling walk to draw him in. Joe remained cautious.
The walking was too slow, but I was trained that you always got to remember, a man is dangerous when he hurt.
The round is over. The round is over. What a round.
He was really hurt. And that was from that plate around the corner. You know, the rope-a-dope, that was a little bit of the rope-a-dope, but he was a dope. So he got nailed.
Frazier really clobbered him with everything in the book.
I said, what's wrong with this guy? What's holding him up?
At that point, you had the feeling that this fight was Frazier's, period, end of paragraph. That was it. Then miraculously, Ali comes back.
Ali is putting all his power in those punches, and they've got to be hurting Joe.
Best fight I've ever seen, perhaps be the best fight I'll ever see, and I better cherish this.
Entering the final round, Frazier was well ahead on the official scorecards, but he did not know that. He was still looking to land that big left hook.
Both close to exhaustion, and Frazier unfurls this left hook.
Short and hard and accurate.
The only knockdown of the fight. The crowd, needless to say, is in a bedlam. Oh, what a shot! Muhammad Ali has never taken such a battering.
Maybe it was a little doubt in my mind whether I got the decision or not, or when I dusted him off. I mean, I was the most happiest guy in the world.
The left hook that took down Muhammad Ali in that 15th round was Joe Frazier's revenge. He had persevered. This was Joe Frazier's defining moment. No one will ever forget what he and Muhammad Ali gave to the world on March 8th, 1971.
The winner by unanimous decision, and still heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Frazier.
Frazier has just scored the greatest victory of his career, of anybody's career.
He made up his mind. I'm going to do whatever I can to get Muhammad Ali, even if I die. And that's what did it.
Well, here we are in Madison Square Garden. The people are still standing around. Nobody seems to want to go home. I think everybody has been treated to one of the greatest fighting evenings they've ever seen.
It was the most eagerly anticipated, closely watched event of my lifetime. These were two of the greatest fighters of all time, and they went at it for 15 rounds. The fight itself, viewed in a vacuum, was extraordinary.
In the aftermath of an event that had touched so many, Jerry Perenchio went to console the loser.
He had no more left the ring than I headed down there too. He was sitting there, still had his trunks on, and there was this young black woman who was on the floor, and she had her arms around his calf. She was just crying, and you can see that she was emotionally very, very upset. He took this woman's head and gently turned her around. He said, Diana, he said, say hello to the man that gave me $2.5 million to get my ass whooped. And it was Diana Ross.
Mohammed is the greatest fighter ever lived. He should be put down in history.
Ali's just a rope bender. All he was lay up against the ropes like he was in a cradle.
Joe, you're not saying nothing.
About a fighter. Joe Frazier's a fighter.
People didn't leave the arena, I got to tell you, for 40, 50 minutes. They were still standing there going, wow, what a night, you know, what an ending, what a finish, you know.
Now a report from Bill Walker at Madison Square Garden.
Frazier emerged from the fight the undisputed champion, but he was a weary, battered victor after 15 punishing rounds.
I want him to come to me and apologize for all the things he called me.
Ali was not around for that apology. The man who said he could not be beaten didn't appear at the post-fight news conference. Doctors at a New York hospital were examining Ali's severely bruised jaw. The next day, Ali met with reporters.
How's your jaw, Muhammad?
Just so I don't have a mark on me, if you see. I don't have one scratch. Nothing happened to me. All I have is this bruised jaw here.
Well, if you looked at the fighters, of course, Ali had a swollen jaw, but Frazier had taken some tremendous punches, and his face was swollen.
Well, I talked to him a couple of times. You know, he's a big man. Any big man can hit.
The rumor was he's dead. He died in the hospital.
I got a call from Bud Schulberg, and Bud said, Gene, I just heard that Joe Frazier died. I said, oh my God, Ali, Bud Schulberg said Joe Frazier died. And Ali said, if he did, I'll never fight again.
Joe Frazier was admitted to the Dufresne Pavilion of St. Luke's Hospital this afternoon, suffering from extreme fatigue and high blood pressure.
I went over to the hospital. It was very sad to go there. There was nobody there at all, and he was very close to death. Certainly didn't want Ali's camp to know that he had taken such a beating.
Dr. James Dufresne, the medical director of St. Luke's, says Frazier's present condition is not related to that fight.
I just thought there's a lot of people that made a lot of money out of this thing. Now it's over, he won, and everybody was taking care of themselves.
Frazier's blood pressure returned to normal, and he left the hospital a week later. Most of those who cheered Joe were relieved. Others had already moved on.
All those right-wingers and all those hard hats who were cheering the Vietnam War, who claimed to love Joe Frazier on March 8, 71, really didn't have much use for Joe Frazier on March 9, 71, aside from the fact that Joe might be able to whoop Ali's ass, and that they wanted. That's unfortunate.
But the memory of the fight has endured.
This was more than a boxing match. It meant so much to a lot of people.
I cried my eyes out, I'm sure most people did. You were so certain that you were right to support Ali, that you were right to oppose the war, that the cause of civil rights was just. And when he lost, it was almost like, it can't be. I can't be on the wrong side of those things. I just can't be.
You had the sense that the bad guys won. The wrong people won this fight. And what they represented had triumphed in the ring. But we knew that what they had represented was losing all over the country.
The Supreme Court today overturned the draft evasion conviction of former heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali.
And as Ali's image and myth and name and reputation grew, Joe's was sure to suffer. The winner that night was the loser. The loser that night was the winner.
The animosity the two fighters had toward each other never left. Ali continued to taunt Frazier, who continued to despise Ali. And to add insult to injury, Joe would lose both the rematch at the Garden and the Thrilla in Manila. As the years have passed for Joe, apparently time has not healed all the wounds. And ironically, he and Muhammad Ali have traded places in the war of words.
And years, many years later, unfortunately, when Ali has Parkinson's syndrome and is glazed and quivering,
Frazier then says something really mean-spirited. Well, now you know who won those fights.
Look at him today. Look at me. I'm the one that's supposed to be dumb, but who's talking like that, you know?
That all comes back from that Uncle Tom comment before the 1971 fight, and he's still carrying that hurt.
I swallow a lot of razor blade, and sometimes they cut inside, you know. I would get rambunctious and say some of the things that I shouldn't say.
I've always thought that they brought out the best in each other in the ring and the worst in each other outside the ring.
I want to, like, throw the towel in. And I'm willing to, like, you know, say to Muhammad, you heard that? And let's say all the fans, all his family, if I've done anything wrong to him, hey man, forgive me.
Like all the epic rivals in sports, Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali each needed the other to bring out the best in himself. And on that night of March 8, 1971, in a crucible of a tumultuous era, Ali emerged as the world's most recognizable personality. But it was Joe Frazier who had put him center stage. Two gladiators for the ages turned America into one nation divisible, with Ali and Frazier for all. Presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.